everyone. This is our third city leadership listening session. We want to welcome you. My name is Tara Marshall. I'm the city manager. I want to recognize we have Councilmember Rossetti in the audience, and I want these council members to introduce themselves and say a little bit about what we're doing here today.
Hi, I'm Manuel Trujillo. I sit on City Council, everybody knows. I'm looking to get out of this today. Any concerns that you have in your neighborhoods, community projects, anything that you guys are wanting to see different in our neighborhoods, in our downtown area, improvements that we possibly could do that are within our area or grasp. That's what I'm hoping to gain from this. Any insights that you have?
A little closer.
Ready? Does that work? Okay. Any insights that you have on improving our city that we live in, quality of life, things that we could do, any policy changes that you can see that would need improvement, if you have input on any of that, all of that is great because sometimes more heads are better than one. So any ideas that we can get from you guys, I think would help us to just improve our community even that much more.
I don't know if I need this. I'm Carmela Lenore, and I'm also on the city council. I don't know much more that I can add to what Manny said, but yes, we're here to just have a way for you to come and voice any concerns or improvements you want to see, anything you want to talk about that's relevant to the city, and just have a kind of an open forum with citizens. That's why we're here.
So we're going to put this mic live and pass it to you guys. So when you speak, you can raise your hand, or if nobody's speaking, just speak out. What it does is it helps the YouTube to capture what you're saying when you speak in the microphone. And that's helpful for people that are watching live or people who are watching the recording.
It works.
That one works. Okay, so we want to get started. Council members, how do you want to get started? Do you want an introduction, or do you want to just dive right in?
I'm fine with however anybody wants to do it. If you feel like being anonymous, we're fine with that. If you don't want to speak, that's great. If you want to just observe. But if you do have something to say, please raise your hand, introduce yourselves, and then just any questions that you have or comments, concerns, and if you want to do a dialogue, that's great as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Mira, and I live in City View Heights. And I just wanted to voice my concern about the current construction. First of all, I'm glad to see that there's not an empty lot there anymore. But so I work from home, and I see the big trucks with the equipment and the materials going up and down our streets. They kind of go through the whole neighborhood, and it's really damaging our streets. My husband and I have been going for walks and kind of taking some pictures. So I just wanted to put that on the radar to let you know that there's probably going to need to be some reconstruction there once they're done with the building.
We appreciate that.
So, I'd like to know the current status of the Keep Main Street Clean project.
Sure. So I believe you're speaking of the task force. Is that correct? So we initially had quite a few people that said they would appreciate joining up. We put a secondary post, I want to say 2 weeks ago, having you click a link and actually sign up to be on that task force. At this time, we've only had 24 people actually click that link and sign up. We were kind of giving it a few weeks to see where we were, and then we'll do an introductory email and start getting feedback from folks on how they want to serve in that capacity. So I think we initially had feedback from over 150 people, but at this time we've only had 24 actually follow up and indicate they want to sign up for the task force. So that's where it stands now.
The link that you guys supplied, was that under the city name or is that under the trashy name? Because I got the one over here, but I wasn't going to put my information over there.
Yeah, it's the City of Trinidad, Colorado, our Facebook page.
Okay, I didn't see that one, but I'll look further for it. But that other one was like, no, I'm not gonna put my stuff over there.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate that, and we will repost. Thank you.
Do we happen to have that link on the actual website?
Yes,
On
we
this,
do.
on the city website as well?
I believe so, but I don't know.
Okay, thank
We
you.
will check. Thank you. Good question.
Anyone else have any comments?
Those are really good comments, guys.
I always have something. So Avenue A is open, how is that going? Is it being used and kept clean? Do we know?
Allie.
Avenue A?
Alley A. Sure, thank you.
Sure.
You guys want to bring it up?
I did go to the opening, but I got there late. It was a very fast ribbon cutting. It looks like it's being kept up and clean. It doesn't look like there are any problems. I drove by there yesterday. I haven't driven by in the evenings yet, but it looks pretty welcoming, and I'm kind of excited. I need to drive by in the evening and see the lights on, because it looks like it'd be very charming with the lights on. In the summertime, I think it's going to be a nice place for people to hang out and sit down and take a rest, you know, maybe at Art Walk or something like that. But so far, so good.
Questions or concerns, or ideas, improvement, youth activities?
We have identified one thing on Alley A we're going to be addressing. The pigeons like to sit on the strings of lights. So, in protection of your food as you enjoy Alley A, we are going to try a sonic. We've ordered them a sonic device that will put out some sort of sound that is supposed to make birds not want to sit on wires. So that is something we're addressing. But other than that, it's ready to go.
So my concern in that is the sound it's producing, is that audible to dogs, cats?
It will not be audible to dogs or cats. We did check. We want dogs to be able to sit on the patio. Exactly. Councilman Rossetti.
When,
That one's sensitive.
sorry about that. When we were running for council, we were asked by the public to have these meetings
Yes.
so people could voice their opinion. Please say something. We want to know what you guys want. That's because we're planning on doing this every month, and like I said last month, whether you're here or not, we'll sit here for an hour by ourselves. But we did promise you people, and we want your feedback, no matter positive or negative. Please tell us what you want.
Thank you.
My name's Danielle, and I know there's an upcoming meeting on March 18th for the proposed building codes, and I just wanted to ask if people could really research it before they make a decision. It's going to affect affordable housing. It's going to affect what I do. I'm a property manager, so I try to keep rents low, but it's definitely going to affect that if those come into place. It's a big concern of mine. I've been trying to read and learn as much as I can, and my understanding is the state of Colorado is asking you to make these changes, but I also understand there's municipalities around the state that said it doesn't work for our community, so we're not going to do it. It's a huge concern, so I just wanted to bring it up at every meeting that I can bring it up at.
I do. I was going to say, Tara, can you tell them what our options are with that?
So, and I'll pass this to Manny and Carmela, but we are in a position now where the state of Colorado has mandated adoption of building codes. It's not clear to us yet what the impacts will be if we don't adopt them. We have not introduced an ordinance to city council to adopt them yet. The reason we're doing these public meetings first is once we introduce an ordinance to city council and they set a public hearing, they're precluded from participating in that discussion. We're having an expert from a building code. It's actually our commercial building code company, Shims Coda. They are providing some consulting to us over. They can't provide the legal advice of whether council should adopt it or not, but what they can do is walk through what Colorado is mandating and what that impact will be locally. We did our own utility rate meetings recently. We had 3 people at one meeting, 4 people at another meeting, and 0 at the third meeting. For this building code meeting, we really need to have people come. So I would second your suggestion that people come out, because the expert that will be here can answer the impacts of what the state is requiring. I don't know at this point how we would advise council on those until we get to the point that we introduce an ordinance, and by then we'll have at least some idea of what the impacts are going to be. You're correct, some jurisdictions are pushing back. We also are in conversations with our state representative and our state senator over if they're willing, and they've indicated that they are, to push back against that at the state level, at least in terms of rural jurisdictions. So a lot of this is going forward. The state has mandated a standard for the entire state that feels different in Denver or Boulder than it does in Trinidad. Yeah.
So I'm going to try to be as polite about this as possible. But the Facebook post that the city put out, that's on the City of Trinidad's Facebook page, is stated in a way, when you read it, that the city is for it, and that it feels like it's a done deal. So if you look at that post, it rubbed me a little wrong, and I sent it to everybody that I could, and I said, without my opinion, just tell me how you read this. Every single person wrote back, well, it sounds like it's a done deal and the city's for it. So if you really want people's input and their opinions, it may, whoever's running that page may want to just watch how they write. If you want to go read it again, you can see what I'm talking about. It just comes across as and it even says in the post, let us show you why we think this is a good idea. So who thinks it's a good idea? The public, the staff, city council? It just kind of doesn't sit right.
Okay, I'm happy to review that post and certainly take responsibility. Certainly take responsibility if we have inadvertently conveyed a sentiment that I'm here to tell you we're not there right now. City council has not made a decision. I have not advised them one way or another how to make the decision. So I take responsibility if we've put something out there that indicates we've taken a position one way or another. Let me clarify that here. We have not. What I would say, though, is this is a state mandate, so the impacts of not adopting it may be serious. And it may mean that we can't get grants. It may mean we can't get low-interest loans. It may mean something as serious as, and once again, I don't know those yet. So it's going to be a balancing act. But what I can assure you of is City Council has not even been briefed on these. So knowing the 7 of them, there's not a single one of them that has made a decision one way or another yet. And the more that the public attends those sessions, and this one is on the 18th, I believe it's at 5:30, and it's here, and the more that you attend these types of meetings, the more we can understand the impact to you in your business.
Well, and it's not just me.
Right.
Because I just take care of things for other people, right? It's how does it affect the average person? in our community, and I think it's like 70% have some sort of public assistance.
Sure.
We have elderly trying to just stay in their homes,
Sure.
and they're living off a low-income wage.
Sure.
They can't afford to, if they pull a permit because their water is pouring through their windows, and they just want to get a decent, safe window, they can't afford to buy the windows that are in this code.
Right.
It's about praying that you guys balance the needs of our community and what the reality really is versus the other side of it. That's all I'm begging you guys to really look at.
And I also do believe that it's going to weigh on it too. We need to find out for sure. We need to also find out for sure on the LEAD programs and the community health programs on how much of them are going to actually be going away this year. There's a potential reduction and potential elimination. So the impact that that's going to have on winterization programs and everything else that comes to this area that we depend upon. So there's a lot for us to consider, and we have to look at different avenues when these come up too. So hopefully we can get some of those people to come and voice their concerns as well, so we know what impact this is truly going to have, at least for this year.
And this is more for you, Karen, because we have not, City Council has not yet been presented any information on this. So my question is, have you gotten any direction from the state talking about what the consequences would be if this is not adopted?
No.
Okay, so it's just kind of out there, just a gray area. They haven't said, they just said this is mandatory.
There's one pushback the state has made pretty clear. If, and it's not just this mandate, there's other mandates as well, that we would be limited from getting grant funds from organizations like DOLA, CDPHE, CDOT, things like that. So it's also going to be important for City Council to understand what projects we're currently getting that money from and what projects that might limit us from getting that money in the future. And it's going to be a difficult decision either way. That's the only thing we've been told.
So would those cuts be retroactive to grants that have already
I
been?
don't have that answer today. This will be an introduction on the 18th for the community to start understanding what those codes are, and then we'll go from there, providing advice. I will tell you the deadline for adoption is July 1, which means we have to introduce it to City Council no later than, as an ordinance, no later than the third week of May to make that deadline. So March and April are the months of engagement and hopefully advice. And what I would say to general public when it comes to advising council on something like this, we may not know exactly what those impacts will be. In other words, the state is not saying if you don't do, they may say if you don't do this, you can't get these grant dollars. But let me give you a perfect example. And I'm not saying this is an impact, I'm just using this as an example. When we have a fire in Los Animas County in the wildland area, the state will often come in within 48 hours and take that fire scene over. So the helicopter drops, the air drops for water. When it gets to that level and the state has declared an emergency, we're not paying for that, at least not in total at that time. What happens if we don't adopt a code related to fire? Once again, they have not made this threat. What happens if we don't find that out until we have a major incident and we go to the state for response, and they will respond, it will be their responsibility. But what if they don't cover the cost of that? Once again, I don't know. I'm saying that council may not be able to be advised completely on what that looks like. We can only say, it looks like this might be in jeopardy. Once again, I'm not a fan of these building codes. So I definitely want to take responsibility if we've made it sound like it's a done deal. I think that's the issue for today. It's not a done deal.
Do you have a reference you were talking about to look up the information?
So there is a document that one of the planning commissions, Nathan gave, and I don't know where.
Can you guys use the microphone if you don't mind? I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure that, thank you, Veronica.
So I don't know where the public can find this, but Nick Mason gave out a document that shows a breakdown of how these codes could affect things.
We'll have that next Thursday at 5:30 at the meeting on the 18th, and we'll make it available online. So if you can't make the meeting, we'll have it. Thank you. Thank you, Danielle, for reminding me of that document.
I just want to, guess Dad and I are just loud people, I don't know. I just want to piggyback on Danielle's statement to you all. As you all know, I've been part of this world for a very long time, and just based on past history, I think council sometimes persuades by what they think is the legal thing to do and not what's the right thing to do for this community. And we get wrapped up into that, and then Trinidad suffers. Denver doesn't care what rules they make for Trinidad. Denver's not going to care about a lot of things. So, as a council, I hope you take seriously what the community is saying and not so much what the state is saying. And if you know they're coming up with these hostage type scenarios, that you let the public know so they could back you to be against this, and then they can then write their representatives at the state level. Just to go flat line, because you have a small group right here. There has to be a way to educate people on what they can do to stop Trinidad from being hostage from the state level nonsense that they're pulling up there. So when you're making this, don't look at it, well, this is what the state is telling us we have to do. We have no choice. There's always a choice. But make sure the community is behind you so that the community can then have your back as well. But you need to listen to the community because we're the ones that suffer in our pocketbook. We are all already feeling that with all the changes that have been made here recently. And it's hurting many people. So just keep that in mind that it's not always what's legally to do, it's what's right to do for our community.
So one of the things I would say, it's not a direct response to what you're saying, but it's something that council and myself have had a conversation of when it comes to policy that's made at the state level. One of the opportunities that I think we have with our city council, with our city management, is when those laws are being discussed, which would have been a year ago, very few rural communities come out and actually testify in front of the assembly. So one of the things that this council I'll be doing with this council this year is looking at, are we engaged enough in the prospective legislation that's being discussed? If we're not, how do we get more engaged? Do we start testifying on these things? Do we start composing letters? Do we start making public statements before we're in the position that now we're trying to assess what's being implemented after the fact? So it's a matter of kind of shifting our focus to what's going on. And I'm not sure, just not necessarily wanting to speak for the council, but just speaking from my own experience, I'm not sure if rural does that as well as maybe we could.
Thank you. I would just like to just see a show of hands how many people have written to their legislators in the last 3 months. I have. I routinely write to them, and I always have, and I always will. And I have no problem going up to Denver and testifying on the city's behalf. I've testified before committees before, and I'm fine. I'm comfortable doing that to bring our concerns there. You had mentioned that you thought our legislators, I think you were talking about Jeff Hurd and Ty Winter.
I was actually talking about Rod Pelton and Ty Winter.
Rod Pelton and Ty Winter. Okay, so you mentioned that they are in our corner, that they know this is going to be painful if we would have to adopt this.
Yes.
How do you know that, and would they be willing to come on the 18th to listen to our citizens? Do you know? Do you have a direct way to contact them?
So I do, and I know that they are behind this. Thursday the 18th won't work. They're in session right now.
Yes.
If it's after May or before January, we can get them, and they do come to a lot of committee meetings. The next time they'll be in town together to discuss this is in July when we do what we hope to be our joint city county legislative roundtable. They both spoke against this at the roundtable last July.
Okay.
Right, so I think it's just having that stronger relationship with them so we can get the opportunity to testify.
So I know they're in session, but I would encourage everybody in this room, get online and send them an email. I do it all the time. They don't answer you, and sometimes their staff doesn't answer you, but you're sending it. And so they know that you are not for this, because they don't necessarily consider, we all know this, rural communities of Inverness. They're kind of this way. So the more we can tell them, because they're getting pressure too from their peers to vote a certain way, to do a certain thing. So we really just need to make our voices heard with our legislators. I know it's an extra step, but if we don't do it, they don't know. So. And it's an election. Hard. For some people.
It's always an election.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So anyway.
Great topic. Thank you, Daniel. Great topic. And just so you know, there's that topic, then there'll also be the wildland and urban interface, which council will submit in 2 weeks.
Just a random question about the house on University. How is the demolition going? And if there are any other houses planned for the upcoming months to be torn down?
So I can only speak today to that one, other than I will confirm that we've had ongoing conversations for months, and we're looking at several different strategies. This particular property went through our anti-dilapidation ordinance program in the past 18 months and was cited over and over and over again. When it became apparent we could not find a property owner, our city attorney went to district court and got an order for us to go onto private property and demo the building. That happened right around 10 months ago. So in the last month, prior to, just for clarity, prior to the public outcry, we had already put a bid out for a demolition company. We've accepted that bid. We've issued a notice to proceed. We've already mitigated it using grant funding from a Brownfields grant. We have to apply for a state permit to demo. That application has been done and we're in a waiting period for a state response. When that waiting period's over, and we do anticipate that generally happens within about 30 days, then we're clear to demo it. So we went to court to get permission. There's a legal question there over whether we have to go to court if we have the property owner in front of us. And if the property owner in front of us is refusing to abate a property. We have a list of 100 properties in town that we've identified as potential anti-dilapidation properties. And that's kind of all I would be able to say today, other than we're aware of the issue. We're having internal staff conversations about how to approach it. We will be approaching it, and it will become public when we go to City Council to present that program and request the funding that it's going to require to implement. Okay. Feels unfair, all the questions you haven't been presented yet.
Since we have time, I'll keep going. Again, for the City View Heights, we have a concern about, so my husband and I are natives to Trinidad. We moved back about 3 years ago and moved into that neighborhood. And for some reason, some of the streets there are lacking street light. Some of the streets have street lights. Ours does not, and I believe Onondaga does not have a street light. And as it grows, there's a lot of kids that play in that neighborhood. So it's just it's becoming a safety concern for us. So I'm not sure why some of them got street lights and why some of them didn't, but it is a safety issue in that neighborhood. And then I have one more about youth activities. So my husband coaches City League baseball, and this year he and 2 of the police officers put together a new team that's Trinidad players only to go play in Raton League so they can represent Trinidad. So I guess our concern is there seems to be a lack of space and I guess equipment for the Trinidad children. They had their first practice on Monday at Southside, and apparently there was a batting cage there, but I guess one of the homeless used it as a hammock. So they're looking to see how we can get that repaired or get another one for the kids. And then also he said that some of the fields were locked. I guess one is reserved for the college,
Okay.
and then one was reserved for a homie team. So there's just concern about lack of space and equipment for the kids that are actually playing from Trinidad. Thank you.
First, welcome back.
Thanks.
We're glad to have you here. Second, I think the highlight of this entire meeting is you're talking about kids playing outside. That's wonderful. That's something we want to be supportive of. We will look at the streetlight situation. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
I apologize that there's someone living in the dugout. We can address that. Now that we know about it, we can address it. And I'll dig into why the fields are locked. I'm very excited about this team. Both of the police officers who are involved have separately briefed me about how exciting this is. So go Trinidad team. When you go over to Raton to play, and then understand the team's going to reconstitute itself to be part of the league here in Trinidad. So baseball is a wonderful sport for youth. I'm excited that we've got so much engagement in this particular team, and understand they were undefeated last year. So I'm really looking forward to another successful season for those young folks.
Just a question on that one. Who's sponsoring that team?
Nobody.
No one's
So
sponsoring?
the kids all registered through Raton this year, and so every parent is paying the individual. We have had offers for sponsorships from some of the parents of the teammates, so we may have some sponsors going forward. But as of the start of the team, they were just trying to kind of organize it and get it together. But we have had offers from, I think, 3 parents from the team, own businesses, so
It's exciting.
it is.
It'd be nice to see the city of Trinidad's logo on those shirts for under
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, you're a council member putting an agenda item on.
I was just also curious, there was a survey that's Emerging Campus was encouraging people to have, how many people have done that survey? Because I think it's really important if you haven't done it, to do it, because it's going to help them know how we can communicate. Kim, you were saying there's got to be a way we can get more people here. So by answering that survey and coming up with a way that we can reach more people and we need to get you out here, that would be a great thing. So I just wanted to bring that up, and thanks, Emerging Campus. Yes.
We got a 3-point survey for about a month. Basically until middle of April. And this was a grant from the Betcher Foundation that we got. So we will organize a big presentation about all the data that we got here. So everybody is going to be invited, and then we can also maybe open forum like this in a few months. We can create a co-creation session about what would be the best channels that we start communicating our messages through. Because a lot of, as you're going to see, is because we have a few hundred answers. We can already see that it's a lot of the basic information that people are not getting and they don't know where to get it from. We can start addressing it.
Thank you, Yoshi.
Yosha, may I ask you a question? Sure. So it's kind of controversial, but I'm seeing it pop up more and more lately. So Raton's now entertaining and debating a AI data center in Raton, and now apparently Walsenburg is now an AI data center. I'm not familiar with these at all. I haven't done a deep dive in them. Is it something Emerging Campus should be interested in, or something we should be interested in, or something we should be fearful of?
So I'm gonna here align with I'm gonna try to quote Utara, but I won't. There is a certain groundwork that's now being laid out about what we have, what we can work with, and how to move forward. And if you work with businesses, there is a part called as-is, to understand where you are, what you have, where your pains are, where your advantages are. Data centers are a two-edged sword. It can be a very good start, but if you're going to over-leverage yourself in that direction, it can come back to bite you. If we have the chance, that would be my personal opinion, the community would have to come together. My feeling is, if we have a better option, go for something else. If we can get those properties in the industrial park for the city, let's go into light manufacturing that can supplement supply chains on the I-25. Let's get the airport up and running, maybe some higher price point advanced manufacturing, let's get that. If we have our arms bound and have no other choice, let's try to get the data center. But I wouldn't put it as the top of the priority list because it doesn't give the community the type of interaction and community build-up that a lot of other options could give us. So I'm neutral on that. That's my answer.
I would just add to that, it's a lot of infrastructure improvement for very little additional wealth in the community.
I'm wanted to just add to that because I do work with Tasha, a church at the American campus. She's kind of spearheading our AI program. I think an opportunity that some people might not quite grasp, but it could be very valuable for the AI realm that we're doing at Emergent Campus is the small business empowerment kind of aspect of using AI. Bringing outside money into the community by teaching small businesses in town how to utilize AI to have a more professional online image, how to bring in sales and revenues that don't rely on being in Trinidad. So there's other ways that we could maybe open up that avenue of thinking that doesn't necessarily involve the investment and the building and the resource consumption and everything that comes with like an AI data center, but still empowering our small business community to utilize those kinds of technologies to bring outside money in.
And I would just also make a statement that Christine Deloja brought that to council. Council voted to support a grant application to the Rural Economic Development Initiative. And while it's not exactly what you're talking about, it's in that realm of the ability to offer a couple of businesses access to the AI opportunities for training and consultants toward that. And in fact, that we expect that decision in mid-April.
I'm just remembered, I was in Raton a few weeks ago and talked with Cynthia Molina, who is their Director of Economic Development. And they talked with a city who is somewhere in between Las Cruces and Albuquerque, that had 3,000 people. They got a Facebook data center inside. Once the city gave very favorable terms to that data center, another data center came, another warehouse came. The city scaled from 3,000 people to 22,000 people in 7 years. Let's call it the happiness index of the city, so how the perception of quality of life is, dropped drastically. They have still just one exit to the highway. They don't have their infrastructure anymore. So as a sense of economic development, it's also going to be to really figure out how much can we digest at what time and what's the pace that we can start taking companies in to not over-leverage ourselves and then collapse under the pressure of all the promises that we have made. So, and that's why I really like how the foundation is now being laid out. So when we do the steps, we do move quick and precise and in the right direction.
And just a reminder that the city and county both partnered with the college and Emergent Campus from last July to work on economic development as a unit, not as separate silos. So we're very proud of that partnership.
Hi, so that's really close. So this is kind of a minor inconvenience for the area that I live in, but definitely a safety concern nonetheless. So between Walnut and Ash, there's a road where 8 splits off into 9 and it goes up. When you come down that road, you have to physically turn yourself all the way around in order to see if anything is coming. And there's been multiple times that I've had people pull out in front of me. Constantly, people are running the stop sign right there at the corner of 9th and Ash, coming from either direction. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of kind of the safety hazard that that part of the road does present. But I think it would be a great idea to turn that into a one-way so that you only go up instead of going down. Because with that, having to turn all the way around and having that low visibility, an accident hasn't happened yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Which street was that again? Just to
So between Walnut and Ash, where it goes up and splits from 8th into 9th, when you drive up it, it's fine. But when you're coming down, right there, you have to turn all the way around, basically, so.
No.
Thank you. Councilmember Rossetti, can you?
It's going to be between, I believe it's going to be between Maple and Chestnut that you're talking?
No, it's between Walnut and Ash, right there where 8 splits into 9th and it goes up and then
Right.
9th Street.
Yeah, that's going to be Chestnut and Walnut.
Well, I live on the corner of Ash and it's that road right there.
Okay.
Where it goes.
But where it comes down to me, it meets on Chestnut, is that?
It's just before Chestnut. So the corner street there, I believe, is Walnut.
Right.
So I guess between Chestnut and Ash.
Yes. And what she's speaking is, I was in charge of the streets for 25 years, so she is right. It would be beneficial to make that one way, as she is speaking.
Okay.
Because I live on Garfield, if I go that direction, you physically got to turn your whole body around to make sure somebody's not coming.
And I can tell you nobody is turning around to see this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Kat, I remember you had asked me a question one time, and I forgot. It was something to do with the skate park. There was a safety concern at the skate park.
Yeah, so there used to be cameras at the skate park. There are no longer cameras there. I guess they've either been broken or they're just no longer working or they're not being maintained. It's not a lot for our kids to do around here. And my child has personally had guns pulled on him over there twice. And it scares the crap out of me. And there's no way of keeping it safe or patrolling it. Like, there's plenty of lights over there, but it would be so much better if we had the cameras and we could actually see, like, if something happens and we report it, something can be done. Because right now, it's their word against whoever's going over there and acting a fool. But I can tell you, my kid's a good kid. The kids he hangs out with, they're good kids. And they have nothing else to do. And if something happens, oh my God, that just scares me, so.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you.
I don't have anything in response to that, except can we make that a priority? Why don't you don't know why the cameras are not there now? But they were, yeah, I would like to, of course, we all would like to see that happen.
Thank you. One, I wanted to ask how the registration for the bocce ball tournament was going along.
Great. Bocce ball is coming to Chimino Park. The city's sponsoring a tournament in cooperation with Carol Cometto and those folks at Tire Wine Shop. And we had a meeting yesterday. We're relaunching a brochure that will be out this week. We're changing it to double elimination, so we've got a few teams registered, and we're looking for 16 teams. If we get more than 16 teams, we'll sponsor a second tournament. This is twofold. We're trying to activate our recreation spaces. There was a pretty robust bocce community a couple of years ago. Is there anybody who doesn't know what bocce ball is? It's Italian lawn bowling.
I Googled it.
Oh, okay.
Online, go to our Facebook page, or you can go into Tire Wine Shop. Go into Tire Wine Shop and register there. Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And where else, Veronica, can you say that again?
The city website, Facebook, and the wine shop.
There's a pretty nice prize. It's $500 for the winning team. So play bocce.
You can also check out free bocce sets at the library.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to make a public appeal to council. We should be a team.
What's the dates?
We can donate our winnings.
What was it? What were the dates?
The dates, it's every week for about 4 weeks. You have one game.
Starting March 15th.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into my next question, and that kind of along with what Kat was saying is the disc golf course
Yes.
at the community center. I've never seen anybody on it. And when I saw the bocce ball tournament being hosted, I thought maybe that would be a great activity for our young folks to be involved in.
That is a perfect suggestion. We're planning on doing something this summer on the pickleball court, similar pickleball tournament. We're also looking to do something at the skate park, like an X Games of our own. But we hadn't thought of disc golf. Thank you for that. So the city's interested in sponsoring the type of events that can get people out into our public spaces, and bocce is our first shot. So please look for it. It's part of our Let's Celebrate 150 years by enjoying our public spaces.
I have a different question going back to the cameras. Do we have an idea what would be the 10 most beneficial corners in town that would maybe deserve a camera, that would make sense to create some sort of a grid that could make a big jump in the way we perceive safety with the littlest possible investment into that area?
So we haven't prioritized corners. We have prioritized a couple of places in the downtown, and those cameras are arriving now for Chimino Park, for commercials in Maine, for the bathrooms on Commercial Street, and we just added the skate park to that list as well. So this was a council priority from the previous council. We've had some, be honest, supply chain issues with our cameras coming in, but we understand they're arriving now. In the first place, they will go up as Chimino Park. So we are starting the beginnings of what will be a more of a video monitoring system than we've had before. And it is in great part to the public outcry for that in our public space. I don't know if you guys want to speak to
Are there any plans to update any of the local playgrounds or anything that's broken on them? Because I know since I moved here 6 years ago, there's some playgrounds where they don't even have a slide, or the slide has had to come down, or something has happened. And like I said, there's really not a lot for the kids to do around here. And playgrounds being one of the only places for them to go, aside from the skate park, I can't take my kids to the park because they can't really play there, so.
So what I can tell you in coming into this job and looking at budget over the past couple of years, we generally put $50,000 a year in the capital improvement budget for park improvements. Last year and this year have gone to the pickleball courts in that area. We have a couple of different things going in that area. Partnership with Trinidad Community Foundation for some exercise equipment, the completion of the pickleball courts, and upgrading the basketball courts. So that's where that money has gone in the previous discussions, but it's very timely for you to bring that up in the spring, because this council will start having discussions in June of what they want to see that capital improvement budget to look like. And we can absolutely prioritize particular parts, but that is the city council purview to approve that capital improvement budget. So be happy to take your feedback if you can give us a particular list of things you'd like to see improved, or we would also be inviting the public to come and provide input to council in June. We'll be at a work session, and that'll be the beginning of this discussion of what projects you would like to see improved. So it'll be a separate meeting than this, it'll actually be in a council meeting.
When Kat brought that up, I've been spending a lot of time at Central Park with my granddaughter, and I've noticed some of the things that she talked about. You know, it's great, the kids would love it if it was all in place. But you know, I don't know what they're called, the big xylophones, where they can take it and play music. They're missing the dongs.
Okay.
So the last time we were there with her, you know, she was trying to reach to the other ones, with the ones that are still there. I told my husband, I was like, I wonder if I could offer to purchase dongs. And I bet you other businesses may want to, just little things. Wouldn't cost a lot of money, but it's important to little ones. They love it. And when you go to Central Park, also like where the swings are, you have that really great foam pad. Kids have been digging holes, or somebody's been digging holes. So like when the kids are running, I've watched several children stepping in and boom. I don't know how hard it is to patch those, but just little safety things at Central Park.
So these recommendations bring to mind something we've looked at. It hasn't once again gone to city council, but these are the types of things that we on an everyday basis, we have amazing people that work for the city, but we don't always know that the dogs are missing. Would it be helpful if the city set up some sort of hotline or some sort of reporting mechanism where anyone in the community could text or email something like that to a generalized mailbox in the city where we could actually forward it to the appropriate person? Because right now we really don't have that mechanism. This conversation is the beginning of us taking that kind of feedback. Did you want to say anything about that?
I just agree with that. I think that would be a great addition. So we could report anything. We don't always see everything, and we can't be everywhere. So you guys are out there, you guys have the eyes, you're living the town, so you're seeing it. So it would be great for you guys to have a platform to say, hey, I'll just take a snapshot of that and send it in to see if they're aware of it, you know. And this way you either get a response or it just gets fixed, one of the two.
Carmela brought me a picture of a sign that was down, and I immediately texted who it needed to go to, and by the time she got home, it was up. So a lot of times, it's just that we don't know the signs on the ground.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was a street sign. So it was a corner of the street sign. And it was just on the ground. I thought, that's not going to be there for long. Somebody's going to come take that. And so I did. I texted her and said, hey, you should at least have somebody put that, come and get it. And then they kind of put it that day.
Part of that is also in the communication server, where so we can tie it in, and through the patterns there are a few community apps that are free that already exist that the community can start using. It would be like a WhatsApp type of thing that has a community forum where people identify their neighbors so the users are chat. So there are free solutions that already exist, but if the city would be open for it, and probably you can do the same with the county, just create one for everybody and figure out through the data what would fit us the best, that would be amazing.
We actually have an existing software that would take your text and turn it into a work order. So we're already looking at something we have existing, but of course that would be an additional subscription. But if this is the feedback of what you think might be helpful, the dongs and the cameras at the skate park brought that to mind. Those are things we don't know, but we can solve if we do.
And that would build trust on an exponential scale with the community. It would be amazing.
Well, we're getting to our last 7 minutes. In many ways, this has been one of the most engaging meetings, so we appreciate it. I think we're walking away with 10 or 15 ideas. Patty, did you have a last question?
I have one more topic I want to bring up. The new train that they're talking about coming down here, right now it's scheduled to come from the Denver-Fort Collins area to Pueblo. Okay, they're working on bringing it from Pueblo to Trinidad. Okay, I was on a committee back in December in Missouri for the train to come between St. Louis and St. Charles County. We voted it down every year for 10 years. 10 years. because it was not a good idea. Because you know the train is coming, but you don't know who's on it. And once they're here, are they really going back? Or are you going to get stuck with whoever wants to bring that train down here? And we've already got enough of whoever's here that we can't handle. So do we really want that train to come to Trinidad? Because first we do have to build a new train station for it. Look at who's going to be coming to Trinidad on that train and who's not going to be leaving. So do we really want it to, or would it be better for it to stop in Pueblo? We'll meet you there. We'll go from Trinidad to Pueblo and get on that train and go north. But do we really want it to come down here and bring everybody with it that's on that train? So be very knowledgeable and think about that aspect of it before you vote for that train to come down here to Trinidad, please.
So there's not enough money for the train to come to Trinidad.
Not right now.
There's not even a discussion right now of the train to come to Trinidad.
There's a discussion.
There's not a funding available discussion for the train to come to Trinidad. It will go from Fort Collins to Pueblo. It's the Front Range Rail. So why would we, as a city, as a municipality, sit on the Front Range Rail District? Because there's a piece of legislation going through the Assembly now that the municipalities that are part of the Front Range Rail District will receive state funding to build stations. So years ago, when they took down the train station here to build the platform, since that time CDOT has owed the city of Trinidad money to replace the station. So part of being part of the rail district is that we would be able to receive money from the district to build the station that would serve the Southwest Chief. In talking with the district executive director, Sal Pace, he's a former Pueblo County commissioner and has a lot of experience in transportation. I feel like I can say this publicly. He's been pretty straightforward that we likely won't get the Front Range Rail down to Trinidad. Should we decide hooking up with the Front Range Rail as a priority, the more likely scenario is that the Southwest Chief, which leaves Los Angeles, comes through Trinidad and goes east to La Junta and goes all the way to Chicago. There is a possibility of realigning that Southwest Chief, which is an Amtrak train, and primarily transports people cross country. And in great numbers, it's European folks that travel trains in the United States. More likely, we would try to push for the Southwest Chief to come through Trinidad and leave Trinidad, go to Pueblo, leave Pueblo, go to La Junta, and continue east and go to Chicago. So if you had a doctor's appointment in Colorado Springs, you'd go to our shiny new station, you'd get on the Southwest Chief, you'd ride to their shiny new station in Pueblo, get off that train, go to the other side of the depot, get on the Front Range Rail, and you could go to Springs, Denver, Fort Collins, come back down, Fort Collins, Denver, Springs, go to the other side of the station, catch the Southwest Chief going back down to Trinidad. That's the long-term solution we're probably looking for. I think the type of riders that are riding that Amtrak are primarily, we've looked at those demographics. We're also going to work with Amtrak to create what's called an Amtrak vacation. The Chamber of Commerce looked at this maybe 10 years ago, and that is where you offer the riders of the Southwest Chief an opportunity to get off and have a 2-night stay package in Trinidad. And they pay for that up front, and everything's part of that. Meals, hotel, adventure experiences, everything. So we would become even more attractive to travelers visiting the United States if we could create an Amtrak vacation that did the Highway of Legends, that maybe went south even to Capulan, to the volcano and came back up. Those are the types of things that we're trying to work on as it relates to rail. And I don't know, Patty, if that addresses your concern. But that would be kind of what we're working on the rail side. So I think staying in the district, although council once again hasn't had that conversation, but it's upcoming, gives us the opportunity to build the station over the next 5 years. think this is our last question.
And this is, I guess, less than a question, but something that I'd like to put out there as far as public transportation is, you know, we talk about different problems like homelessness, the elderly getting around, things like that. And Trinidad, I mean, really is a car-focused city when it comes to transportation. So I know that there have been initiatives in the past about things like e-bike share programs and things like that, but I'd like to at least put it out there in the air that some sort of maybe bus system or transit system for people to get from like the Walmart area down to downtown and across town to the fairgrounds where they do the food bank. Those are something I think is more important and focusing on right now.
Okay, thank you. That's something certainly we appreciate. Manny and I sit on the regional transportation discussion. So I know we're at time. We always ask at the end if you have any feedback from us. Was there anything about this format that you would give us feedback that can help us improve? If not, we plan to do this in April again. Do you think the noon time, and I know you're all here at noon, is better than the evening time? We're trying to vary these.
I think you'd probably get more people in the evening. I'm lucky because I'm off on Wednesdays, so.
So we could try the evening again. Yeah. We've got 2 more council members to participate. Did you want to say anything in closing?
No, well, just thanks so much for coming out and talking to us about this and just being the eyes. And I hope everybody's going to continue to come to these sessions. And if you can't come, tell somebody else to come. Because we need to hear from you. So thank you.
Is this one thing?
Just a response. Can I get your name again one more time?
Devin Cash.
Oh, Devin! You look so different. Sorry. How are you? Just in response, so April 23rd, I believe, is our next TPR meeting at the South Central Council of Governments. So I believe they have added public comment, so that would be a great time to bring that conversation up for multimodal. And I believe that's what you're talking about. And that is the forum to really bring that up too, because South Central Council of Governments actually has the transportation area of our public transport for this area. So bringing that up to them, they have the avenues to bring those into our area there a little bit more than the ability that we have as the city. So that would be a forum to bring that up to if you could. So if you bring that up to Director Blasey at South Central Council of Governments, I think that would be great. I want to thank everybody for coming out today on this beautiful, chilly afternoon. It looks like it's warming up outside. I appreciate all your input and your concerns, and it's just very heartwarming to see everyone come out. I know we didn't touch much on the economic development. We've had some touch on it, and we've gone in depth on all the other meetings and the inputs from the other meetings. I really do appreciate everything that we've gone through. I do want to encourage every single one of us, and then everybody that's watching it, that they go through. Remember, if there's a restaurant you like, a business you like, anything that's outside of Trinidad, reach out to the owner, talk to the managers, sell your town. We love it here. They may love it here. That's how we get economic growth. Let them know that we exist down here, that we could support them. Their businesses will do well here. We travel to them, so which means that we would probably support them here. So bringing those businesses down here will help to eliminate the retail hemorrhage that we have going up north. The numbers are ridiculous of how much money we spend up in Pueblo and other communities that we could be retaining in our own area. So I encourage everyone, when you go to your favorite sushi restaurant, steakhouse up north, leave a little message. Thank you so much for coming out today. I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We want to thank Tom Murphy and Trinidad